out of surgery? Is someone dying on the table?
No, I'm a medical device rep for an eye care company, and I'm right in the middle of my day, but I can make time for this.
That's awesome, man. Well, tell me a little bit about yourself and your product or your company.
Yeah, well, my name's David Spence, and I developed the company's called K-9ite Company, and we developed a uh, LED safety device for dogs that's unlike anything else that's available in the market today. It's a LED safety belt design, and I came up with it because my dog, when I was on a walk, had gotten loose. She had gotten scared and backed out of her collar, and uh, thankfully I was reunited with her. And when I got home, I wanted to put some type of a light on her, and realized that a harness she can't wear because of her musculature. It's uncomfortable for her, and a collar wouldn't have put me in any better position than I would have, because I'd still have she still would have backed out of an LED collar as well. I just have a lighted collar at the end of my leash, and she'd still be off loose somewhere. But I had developed the K9ite Safety Light for my own needs, but as I made like uh, a crude, I guess, prototype, if you will, just for my own needs and peace of mind. And people started to take notice, and they said, "Look, if you sold that, you'd make a lot of money, and a lot of people would buy it. That's a common problem." I'm like, really? So I took the leap and invested some of my own money into an actual legitimate prototype from a company that makes them. And after I was done, I took the device to Bark at the Park at the Miami Marlins ballpark, and sure enough, it blew up. And people were like, "Where did I get one? Where did I get one?" And I realized I was onto something. At that point, I incorporated, made a company, and now I'm just trying to move forward to bring it to market.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I'm actually in Miami as well.
Really
Yeah.
cool.
So I know the event that you're talking about. So it's hard for you. Can you describe what the actual device is, and do you have any IP or any patents protecting it yet?
Uh, Actually, your second question first. Yes, I currently have a patent pending. And as far as
Now, is it a design patent or is it a utility patent?
its utility patent.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Again, I don't have it here because I wasn't expecting this to happen right now. But best I can describe is,
That's the great thing about this app, man. You always got to be ready, right?
yeah. I wish I had it in my bag. I've learned the hard way. I always have it in my bag. Yeah. So the device is a strip of ultra bright LEDs encased in a fully enclosed, non-toxic silicone housing, and it's translucent because the full strip of LED bars is they call it diffuses light, so it makes it even brighter.
Hmm.
And it's attached to the dog over its withers. So the LED bar goes to the dog's withers. That's basically just like its shoulder blades, and that's by design. It's the highest fixed point on any dog. So as you know, if you've noticed a dog move, they run, jump, play, and collars spin, they rotate. And in my situation, they can be pulled off if the dog backs out of them, if they're scared or excited. Um, and so think about your emergency vehicles. They have lights on top, and it's the highest fixed point. So the reason for that is it can be seen at great distances, and it wraps around the dog, so it stops just behind its, I guess, if a dog has an armpit, the dog's armpit, so you can see it from all angles, and it's super bright. And it's attached to the dog with an elastic band that spans the dog's chest and clips in the front. At least that's the current design, and it doesn't shift, spin, rotate out of place. So it's always on, no matter how the dog moves. It's comfortable. All dogs can wear it. I mentioned earlier how my dog, she can't wear a harness, and because of their musculature or their bone structure. And so,
Yeah, I'm having trouble picturing this all-in-one device that can fit every size of dog.
yeah.
It doesn't rotate like if you've really created something like that. I mean, that is pretty magical because like a harness is supposed to be that catch-all, right?
No, dogs can back out of those too. But also, again, not every dog can wear a harness. They're comfortable. They restrict movement. Dogs can't move normally. Sometimes it can injure or compromise the dog's ability to move freely, and it can hurt them. Not all dogs, but certain dogs, again, with their musculature or the skeletal structure, it can be harmful to them, or just simply uncomfortable. You put a harness
Yeah.
on she will sit there. You have to drag her along, and so since then we've never put one on her since she was small.
Hmm.
But it'll come in three sizes, and small, medium, and large. And again, with the elastic band that allows it to be customized to the dog's fit, nice and snug, not tight but snug. So it's again custom fit to the dog, and the LED bar again goes over the dog's withers where it stays in place.
Well, so my specialty is, my specialty is e-commerce online, mostly through Amazon. So
Okay.
I've got I've got 9 brands. I've got a lot of different products on Amazon across many different accounts, and I specialize in marketing and making products successful, selling a lot of products over $10 million in products on Amazon annually. So I'm always thinking from that perspective, because what I want to know is, how are people going to find your product and buy it? That's like the thing for me. So if I'm trying to work within an existing space, then I need to know, are there competitors that are selling something similar? And if they are, how are people finding them? So what are the keywords people are searching for on Amazon? And what does that search volume every year look like? And so I always analyze products from that perspective. And it sounds like you have something new, unique, that people necessarily wouldn't be searching for, which means that even if you put it on a platform like Amazon, it would be difficult to sell it through a specific search term. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't put it on a search term like pet safety or, pet harness or something that is similar, and then it would sell. But the price point matters there, because like if someone searches for a pet harness, they're probably going to buy a pet harness, and a pet harness might be 10, 15 bucks. And if your product's 30, 50, whatever dollars, like, what is the price point you're targeting?
Well, let me back up. The patient, sorry, I keep calling patient in the medical arena, but the customers that I would pursue live online. So it would not do the whole retail unless it was down the line was truly viable. Plus, profit margin online is direct to consumer I think is the way to go. But the LED dog safety space is quite large. I mean, you have harnesses, collars, leashes, those little tags that hang down from the dog's, like I call it like a keychain, like a charm, which are useless. So you do a search for any of those things under LED dog collar. I had done an early campaign, Kickstarter campaign with some online, like through Google and whatnot, about a year, I guess it was January 2018, and went to again Google, and some of the help I got was to put in the search LED dog collar, anything LED dog collar, or any derivative or any duration, any version of that would bring up quite a bit of searches. It would be linked to the K9ite Safety Light. So LED dog collar, LED dog leash harness.
So what's interesting is I'm looking right now. So the magic of this is that I'm in front of my computer. LED pet collar didn't have many searches. It was under 200 searches a month, which is not very much. But let me look up LED dog collar.
Yep.
And I can give you like exact data here. I've got a lot of tools at my disposal. And so ultimately what I'm thinking, what's your price point going to be?
It's going to be anywhere from $30 to $50 again, because the actual, it's not just the LED part. There's a lot of functionality with the device that I think in one unit that doesn't exist as well in the marketplace. In terms
and what's your cost on that
unit? I'm expecting to market with a $30 to $50 price point.
But what's your cost though?
Oh, my cost? $7.50 is the quote I've been given.
Okay. I also obviously manufacture quite a few goods, and I have a lot of connections in China with factories, so I can always spin it around and see if any of my employees can find a better source for you. 20. So what I'm saying is like LED dog collar has about 4,000 searches a month. That's a little bit better, but it's very competitive. The price points are much lower than what you're looking to do. So here's the issue with that. And like the leaders are only selling 10 to 20 a day on Amazon. That's not a lot. So let me see. There's one selling 1,000. What is that? There's one selling 36. Yeah, there's a clip-on pet dog collar. So there's one that clips on to the collar instead of making a whole new collar.
Yeah, well, here's the challenge that some of those other devices have. In the situation I was in, None of those have deemed.
None of those would work. Yeah,
It,
yours solves a problem that's different. I'm just looking at it from a marketing perspective as to how are you going to market your product. It's better, right?
yeah,
So here's my thing. I think that you said you did some kind of Kickstarter. Did you actually go on Kickstarter and actually do a Kickstarter?
I did, and it failed. I just didn't. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. I learned
Yeah,
back.
Kickstarter has its own learning curve altogether.
Yeah.
Now, I think that that's a really great market for you. And as a matter of fact, one of the other founders of Pitch, Jonathan, he is a master at social media ads
Yes.
and Shopify. And I think that this is something better for your own site than it is for maybe Amazon, because you're going to have a higher price point. You got to couple it maybe with some other things that you can find to upsell, downsell. You want your average order size to be larger, so you have a better price point. Your margins are good. Now on Amazon, I think you're going to have difficulty sticking until people get to know the product, and then eventually you can start to sell it on its own.
Mm-hmm.
You should probably put some there too. So Amazon has a fulfillment, like a warehouse. Like if you send it into one of their warehouses, when it sells, they'll put it in a box and ship it for you.
Sure.
So you don't need to worry about fulfilling orders. That's why you can scale Amazon businesses like I do. But I work within the existing demand, right? So I have hundreds of products, and they're all sitting at Amazon warehouses, and I don't need to have a huge warehouse here in Miami. I don't need to have a bunch of employees here in Miami.
Sure.
That's why I can scale an 8-figure business with 5 employees, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you are going to probably have to set it up to where you're fulfilling. Now you can hire a 3PL to do something similar where they'll fulfill it for you.
Yeah.
Because you have a full-time job. You don't want to be sitting at home stuffing boxes,
right,
or hiring someone here in Miami also.
Mm-hmm.
So there are warehouses that'll do it for you as well. They're called third-party logistics companies, 3PLs often. And they'll do merchant fulfilled orders for you.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to want to be on multiple platforms, but you're going to probably need to get someone that's an expert at social media ads.
Yeah.
You're going to need to get really great content. Here's how you game Kickstarter too, and why you've probably failed at Kickstarter. Kickstarter has a really unique ranking system, and you have to probably build up a large audience before you even start your Kickstarter.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't know that. They go live and expecting Kickstarter to drive a lot of people to your Kickstarter.
That was me.
Yeah. And so we gamify Kickstarter. We've got products that I've invested in the past, and the way we gamify it is and really game it is that we'll use chatbots and ManyChat on Facebook and Messenger, and we'll run ads to pre-sell our Kickstarter and offer a cashback discount.
Oh, what?
So what we do is we'll be able to accumulate a list of buyers or backers into Messenger that we can automatically talk to when it goes live on Kickstarter and let them know it's time to go buy it. But they've already been set up with all the expectations
Mm-hmm. that
they're going to go buy it in the future. And when they go buy it, they come back and give the Kickstarter order confirmation, and we just give them like $10 cash back.
Sure.
So even though like you're selling it for $39.99 early bird special on Kickstarter, right? After fees and everything, you're still clearing, close to $30.
Yeah.
But you can give them 10 of that and still make $20. It's fine. You're gonna raise enough capital there to manufacture. Plus, you don't need to have it ready to go or manufactured when you do your Kickstarter. So you can pre-fund it, get the capital raise that you need to really get a lot of units made. And then you can use a lot of that capital also to start running your ads into Shopify. You can use the success of your Kickstarter also to do great ads on social media. Hey, you missed this. Look what it does.
Huh?
Then you have videos of testimonials, people using it, and then that's really what captures people. Dogs and pets and babies, they're cheating for ads. Like, they are cute. People love to watch them. Yep. They love to share them. You do some really cute stuff. You do a touching story about how it saved a dog's life, or how you were scared about your dog or something. All of those things are going to pull at the heartstrings and sell. So I don't even know that you need an investor. You probably just need more of a strategic partner on the marketing side,
okay,
to help you set up a Kickstarter, to help you set up those Facebook ads, to help you set up your Shopify store.
Mm-hmm.
You probably need a CMO, right?
CMO, what's that stand
Chief
for?
Marketing Officer.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, because I know nothing about that. So
yeah, so you need a partner that can come in and be your CMO and help guide all this marketing. Now on your capital needs, like, you have a full-time job, you've invested money up into this point,
yeah.
you've filed for utility patent. Sounds like you've got a little bit of money to put into it. I don't think you need a whole lot because you can pre-sell so many units on Kickstarter.
Okay. Well, I'd have to redo the whole Kickstarter thing, but yeah, I mean, I have to do it.
You'll need to redo it. You'll need to redo the video, the everything. Maybe if you raise another $10,000 to $20,000, or if you already have that, you could run a really successful Kickstarter and probably sell 6 figures worth of product in a short period of time.
Wow.
This is my impression about your product and how successful I think you should do. I think that would be on the low end.
Oh wow. Okay. So I mean, if I'm gonna take up on your advice and look for a CMO, how would I go around hunting for someone like that and securing someone like that as a partner?
I think Jonathan's the guy to talk to, and Damien is another guy, like that's involved in pitch. He's one of the guys here. The guys at pitch, like a lot of them are marketers, and I have done millions and millions of dollars in sales for their own products, and that's how they got involved with pitch is as well. Like they're investors and they're involved as well. So I think you're in the right space. You have a lot of guys around you here at Pitch. I love your product. I think that it's revolutionary. Having IP, having protection. It's just you have to educate the market.
Yep.
Educating a market is not something I love to do. I love to work within existing demand. So it's much less friction that way. I don't want to have to teach someone to sell them. I want someone already looking for something, and I just want to do it a little bit better than my competition.
Yeah, well, I really do honestly think that this is one of those viral type products where you put in brand ambassador, influencers, people who you follow people on Instagram and Facebook. I'm telling you, that universe and those folks are dedicated to their pets. They really do embrace and feel close to their pets, which I understand because I'm one of those people. So you get some folks with a large following on Instagram, Facebook, some of those other platforms specific to dogs. I mean,
that's exactly right. So yeah, you're definitely on the right track there, and that's one of our strategies. A lot of these Facebook groups, we don't just spam their group without permission, right? We talk to the admins and we let them know, hey, we invented this. It's really cool. And this might be a guy that runs a random pug group, right? And then you have another girl that runs a porgy group, or another Westie group. You have on Facebook, think about how many groups you have that are just dog breed specific.
Oh yeah.
So if you were to look at just German Shepherds, you probably have 50 German Shepherd groups, all with thousands of members. Yeah. And there's going to be a little overlap, but probably not a lot. And so you're going to end up with just 100,000 German Shepherd fans, and then 100,000 pug fans, and 100,000 American Bulldog fans. And so if you can, this is what a CMO would do when they have time, and something that you can even do. You have to have a really good script or an angle that you're going to approach the admin. You're going to give them one for free.
Yeah.
You're going to say, look, I'm going to do this Kickstarter. It's going to save dogs' lives. I'm passionate about it because of blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I would love to pre-promote the Kickstarter with a discount for your group. And then you would bring them in with ManyChat, like a chat bot, and it would automate the conversation for you, would lock them into a database to where when you're ready, you can just respond to them when the Kickstarter goes live. And then you can generate the way it works is that if you generate at least 200 sales a day on Kickstarter, you're going to be featured at the top of the Kickstarter list, and then all of those organic sales will come in also.
Interesting. Did not know that.
But you need to hit like 200 a day, which is hard to do. Yeah. So if you have a list, and even though people pre-commit, doesn't mean they're going to convert.
Right.
So you need more than 200 a day messages going out to people that pre-committed. So let's say it converts at 20%. That means you need 1,000 messages going out a day to people that pre-committed. If you want to game it for the first 10 days, you need 10,000 people.
That's some crazy math.
If you're working with a lot of different Facebook groups, you're going to be able to easily get to 10,000 pre-commitments. Now, and that costs you nothing. It costs you time to message some people that run groups that are passionate about this shit, and then you just pre-commit to giving that admin a free one. So if you work with 100 groups, you got to give away 100 units. and you just let them know, hey, I'm just going to put a link, a little bit of information. The key is content. You need to have a great video. You need to have testimonials, great images of your product on different types of pets.
Mm-hmm.
Spend a little bit of time and money there. Don't be cheap about it and shoot it with your cell phone. Get a decent, even if you get someone, a friend that has a mirrorless, like a Sony camera, or like any of the A7 series,
right,
or gets a Canon D60 or better, like or 60D or better, like any of those will be good enough. Make sure lighting is good. Make sure you're getting good shots of the dog. You can do that guerrilla style, but don't skimp on it and don't make it cell phone pictures.
Right.
Now, if you make it too professional, sometimes it doesn't convert as well. Sometimes the organic converts better. It's really funny the way that works. So you want it to look real, but also not be shitty quality.
Right.
There's a balance.
It's balance. The sweet spot.
Yeah. There's a sweet spot. But the interview style like this, like you see that I teach classes on how to sell on Amazon. So I had to put up a nice system. I had to put up a nice mic. When people do I have one light right here, makes all the difference in the world. So when you're ready to do the interview talking about, you wouldn't want this mic here, right? So you would just step it away, and then you would do your interview about what you're trying to do on Kickstarter and why you invented the product. And so that would basically be everything that you're trying to do.
Okay.
And so what I would say is I think that you've got something great. It's not going to take a lot to be very successful. This isn't necessarily going to be something with a lifelong value unless you go to retail next, which is another whole conversation.
Right.
And you're talking about retail, smaller margins. That's great, but you can sell 200,000 units in one order.
Yeah, I'm also thinking of partnering with Major League Baseball and branding each one for the different,
so licensing is an interesting play. I mean, not all of them. Look, licensing is a whole nother thing. I mean, if you're going to think about Major League Baseball, you could think about every sport, but it'd be interesting to see the way your product works and how their logo would fit on it and how it would look and whether it would actually work. I mean, you could do Marvel, Disney, you could do all sorts of branding but it's not right for every product.
Right.
All right.
Certainly.
I don't see a lot of that in the pet space.
I was thinking that
probably for a reason.
Event, that kind of thing, but like for those events by themselves, I think would at least get the name out there for if you even at the Bark at the Park events, because every single baseball park in Major League Baseball has a Bark at the Park event, at least one per year, with at least 1,000 dogs that end up being brought in. So I think from in and of itself would at least drive sales, and at least the margins would be smaller, but the volume would be huge.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can market it at the Bark in the Park, like put it on the jumbo screen for a period of time, or there's an insert that is handed out. But you're talking about some kind of marketing play there that's going to cost you money. I don't think it'll work with the ROI that you're expecting it to work, where people would buy their favorite team's version versus this one. Plus, you're talking about a ton of extra expenses there. You're talking about a lot of design expense, like you have the marketing expense, you have the actual manufacturing expense. Every time you add a SKU, you add a variation. You're talking about a lot of extra money and expense, and then that's a variation that just might sit there. So that's dead inventory. That's extra capital outlay. It's not the most lean or best way to actually go about trying to launch your product.
Sure. I didn't think about that. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
So think about the most popular color. Start with that, right? Maybe 1 or 2 colors. Don't go crazy with 10 offerings or 10 colors. Well, if your LEDs change, then that's great.
Yeah. That's one of the features. It can change every color in the rainbow.
Yeah. And so do you have an app attached to that as well?
The patent, one of the patent claims is I can incorporate that technology as well as GPS and that kind of thing. So I mean, it's got all types of functionality all in one unit, which I was saying earlier. USB rechargeable, universal fit, has multiple color and flash mode settings all in one unit, where nothing else like there exists. I don't care what you talk about, whether it's a harness, a collar, a leash, a tag. Nothing has every single color. You can change it, and all the different flash modes too. So it's multifunctional. Yeah,
I go to China and I source a lot, and I go to fairs and I see LED products,
right?
And I see a lot of them. A lot of the manufacturers have apps already built that they'll just white label for your product, and then they'll give you the app already built.
Oh, that's
right.
Fantastic.
So if you deal with the right manufacturer that already has an app, they can take what they've already got, and then just put your logo and then change it over pretty easily, and it won't cost you a lot of extra money.
Wow. Okay. Cool. It's one of the
Yeah,
things
yeah.
I thought when I first came up with the device, what I wanted to do, I wanted to be able to one of the more advanced models of it to have that Bluetooth capability, and I want to be able to be manipulated by your phone or an app. So that's good news. I never even thought it existed. So that's good.
Yeah, yeah, and I've seen many of them, so it's not that hard. You can look on if you're going to look for more manufacturers. Alibaba is the obvious one, but there's one that's in Chinese called 1688.com,
Okay.
and so it's all in Chinese, and basically on Alibaba it's all brokers targeting Americans. That's why it's in English. Now 1688 is all in Chinese because it's all of the major manufacturers and large distributors targeting the brokers in China. So you can cut out the middleman a lot by going straight there, but you just have to use like a translator app, like a plugin on Chrome or Chrome extension. You could use Google Translate. It'll translate the whole page for you.
Oh, wow.
Now, reaching out to them can be a little bit of a pain. You need to have WeChat. You need to know how to reach them, but you can get around some of that. Try to create a 1688 account. It's just another option for sourcing if you wanted to look for other options out there.
Okay.
Good
information that I've had as an individual trying to get manufacturing. It's been very, very challenging for me.
Yeah, that's a big pain point for a lot of people. And in my supply chain, I actually have employees in China at this point. But when I was first starting, I was lucky enough that my wife is from China. So I had a huge advantage. And that's one of the reasons that I was able to scale this business, is because like we were able to communicate and figure it out. But one of the things that I teach people is on the sourcing side. There's a lot of little small tricks that'll save you a ton of money. But I think that you've got something fantastic. I think that it's not an Amazon play because there's no one looking for it, right?
Right.
It's not an existing store play yet because no one's really looking for it, and it's not featured. But once you show a retailer that there's demand for it, you crush it. You have ads that are converting. You have a Kickstarter that crushes it. The retailers will be interested right away, and you're going to be able to get. Also, down here in South Florida, you're in Miami. We have one of the largest pet online retailers in the world, probably the largest.
Chewy.com, right?
Chewy's right here.
It's right there in Dana Beach.
There you go. So, I mean, you could drive up and knock on their door. Once you have it, once you're ready. Yes. I don't think you're ready for retail, but I think that you have an opportunity to pre-sell with doing a Kickstarter is probably the best way for you. Help you raise a lot of capital, pre-sell a bunch. People aren't expecting it to be delivered for months after you sell. Gives you enough time to perfect the product. Take some time. If you have to fly over to China and meet with your manufacturer to make sure everything's working right, because you don't want to ship out a bunch of bad product.
Of course.
But it doesn't, it doesn't need to work perfect for your audience to commit to it. And then that's the difference. So you like I said, work with those influencers, work with the admins, get ManyChat set up, probably find someone that can help you do all that stuff, like a CMO type, a partner that you can bring in, vest some equity to them over time. Don't just hand them 10% or 20% or more of the company, because you want to make sure it's performance-based and that it's time-based, right? So anytime you bring on a partner in a company, it's really important that you understand that you have to vest them over time. You say, look, you have the opportunity to earn 20% of this company, and I'll give you a percentage of the profit. You could do a profit share, which is separate from an equity share, right? Profit share could be from day one, as long as they stick around. And then equity, every 6 months, you can vest them a percentage. Over the next 3 years, they have the opportunity to get to 10 or 20%. But every 6 months, they just get a chunk of it, right? So that way, when you bring on a partner, there's lower risk for you, and then there's an opportunity for them to prove themselves. And if it's the right fit, then it's gonna work out for both of you.
Okay, that's all smart. Right. This is all very good information, because these are things I've never thought of, because I just have never been this knee deep in entrepreneurship and starting a business. So these kinds of things, I would have done exactly what you told me not to do. Or bring on a partner, give them 10%, and let's go. And that's and what you said makes more sense. Yeah,
I've seen that mistake a dozen times or more. So it often ends up with the partners fighting, going their own way. But now the partner that left still has their equity. The cap chart's ugly. There's bad blood because of it. And it's like, look, we give a trial run, make sure it's going to work. If you have to pay someone a little bit of money, but just make sure that they have the skill sets that I spoke about. If you got someone that's good with chatbots right away, that's a big plus, because then they can really build up an audience with you. They know how to do some of that guerrilla marketing. You don't need to spend a lot of money up front to start advertising this to build up a big ManyChat list. You have built-in audiences everywhere. And even Instagram is okay. And Instagram, you have a ton of like dog specific groups and influencers, and you can target some of them. But a lot of them, if they're big enough, they're going to want money. They're going to want something.
Right. This is true.
But the admins of the Facebook groups, I always found, were just doing it because they're passionate about it and they don't really give a shit about the money.
Right.
What they care about is like, hey, I can add value to my group.
Okay. Which I didn't think about it there. I'm on Instagram a lot, and I see all the dog stuff. I'm like, so I don't really. Well, outside of my Kickstarter, I didn't do a whole lot with Facebook. I still have an active Facebook page, but haven't been engaged like you're kind of really saying I could be, and have a really profound effect on what I'm trying to do.
Well, you could even create your own Facebook groups. Like you take your group on your Messenger that you start to build, and then you reroute them to a dog safety or a pet safety group, right? So you can even talk about like, and try to make it more generic than even dog safety, because the more generic the group, the more likely people join. Mm-hmm. And it could just be like, dog picture of the day or dog memes group, right? Just think about, like, if you do a dog memes group or something like that, and people are just contributing memes, people are going to love to be in that group. It's going to make them laugh. It's going to make them, it's going to touch them emotionally. Now, all of a sudden, you're building up an audience that you can retarget when you're ready to launch or when you're ready to sell.
Okay.
And it doesn't take a lot of effort. You can hire a VA to even help you with growing that group, and it would cost you $3 to $5 an hour if you hire someone from the Philippines. What's
a VA?
So a virtual assistant.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Yeah. So a VA is a virtual assistant. So you can go on sites like there's Free Up with 3 E's, FREEE up.com. Okay.
FEE. Okay, right.
All right, they've got virtual assistants. They're a little bit more expensive because they take a cut, but they're all vetted, and then they give you the person. And if the person's not performing, then they replace them for you. They give you a lot of guarantees. So they help administer, like they're more of an administrator for you as well. So they charge a little bit more on top. Now you can go hire directly yourself on a site like onlinejobs.ph. Mm-hmm. That's all Filipino VAs. Now the Philippines are good for virtual assistants because they all speak English. And so they often, and their standard of living is so cheap that it's like $3 an hour is a decent wage over there. Mm-hmm. Just be careful. They like to play games, and every other week someone in their family's dying and they need upfront money or something like, and they're all working for like 10 people. So just be aware of the games up front. But yeah, onlinejobs.ph, Free Up. If I have a free $25 for Free Up through one of my groups, it's free up with 3 E's.com/seller systems. If you sign up there, you get $25 free. And in that way you can give it a try. Try to find someone, just search for social media manager or Facebook, and then you'll find people that can help manage a group, bring people in, post content daily. They'll just take memes from everywhere else and just keep posting it for you daily on a profile. And then that way it's keeping the group active and people laughing and sharing. You make the group so it's shareable, and then people find it, and then all of a sudden you're growing your own group that you can market to later. So it's a long-term approach to grow your brand. If people are less likely to engage if you're trying to push your brand.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah,
a lot of other people, it turns me. I've done it myself, but I know that when somebody just tries to like push it's just a 24/7 constant advertising or promotion of their product. I usually get out of the group or stop following them. One of the two.
Yeah, and you wouldn't even join the group in the first place a lot of times. So, but if it's a fun group that has to do with the type of dog you have, and they're constantly posting memes about that dog, you can just create a whole meme series of groups where it's even breed specific. And then you just have a VA that's just looking for content all day and creating memes. Like they find a good one with one type of dog, they just go find other pictures and recreate the meme and then just post it across all the groups. And then every day you have content getting created, and then you bring people into that group in a couple different strategies. So that's another thing you can do. So there's a lot you can do on the free side that a lot of people think like they just want to throw money at every problem. They want to raise $1 million and they want to do all these things. They want to do the licensing. They want to, they want to do all these things. You don't need to do any of that. Like you can pre-sell hundreds of thousands of dollars in units. Just do it right. You just need to know what you're doing. Do the marketing right. And then you can create a brand. The next step would be retail, which is where you start to get really paid.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, that was the whole idea going to the first Kickstarter, but not knowing what I didn't know at the time. And I'm thinking to myself, at this point, it's going to take a lot of money to get to the next level because I got to, like you said, raise capital and so on. But you're saying that I can, have a second bite of the apple, so to speak, at this Kickstarter thing, and I do it right, that I could certainly be on my way.
Absolutely. Well, it was great talking to you, man. I mean, feel free to reach out, message me. We're local. I think that you've got something there. I think you just need that other piece, that marketing piece.
Okay.
But someone that's going to do it right, not just try to spend a bunch of money for you. So think about some of the ideas I gave you. Try to find someone on that front. That could even be a VA. Like, you don't necessarily need to give equity to a VA. You just pay them hourly, right? And then you can find someone that's good with ManyChat. You find someone that you write the script of what they're reaching out to the admins on those groups to try to get pre-commitments, what they're going to post in the groups. So you can create your own employee that does that and works for you while you're at work.
That's the idea until things get going here.
There you go.
Full time, trust me. Hey, man, well, thanks a lot for your time, Brandon. I appreciate you calling and all the great advice. And I'm truly, sincerely thankful for you taking the time.
No problem, man. Good luck. Take care.
All right.